This is Lynn Matajan from Matajan's Herbals, and tonight, by request, we are going to talk about crystal grids. Crystal grids are made for different reasons and different purposes. They can be purely spiritual in nature or more down to earth. They can be used for healing, for protection, for prosperity, love, manifesting, anything that you feel health with. You need help with. Crystal grids harness the energy of the crystals and sacred geometry to create a shift in energy and bring the desired changes. They can also maintain the energy of a situation or anchor the energy. Now, there's different ways to make crystal grids. Okay, the one we're going to do tonight is a stationary one on the table where it will all be. It's going to be a small grid, and we're going to do. It's a healing grid that we're going to do. It is. It can be small. It can be 2 stones. It can be 3 stones, or it can be. I've got. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8. So I've got 16, 18, 19 stones that we'll be using in the grid that we built tonight. And it'll be right here on the table. But I have built other grids. I've got a grid that we built 3 or 4 years ago that covered all of Snohomish County. So I had 50 people come and circle with me. We raised the circle, we blessed the stones. I gave everybody 2 stones and 1 address. So 1 stone went to their house to be buried, and 1 stone went to a predetermined public address that we had determined early on. And then I had the 3 stones, the above, below, and within stones that were the cornerstones of the grid. Now, those stones are here in my house because I am in pretty close to center of Snohomish County, and it is and so those stones remain here. Now, so we released the circle, and everybody went out and buried the stone in the public grounds. And then we came back to circle again, and we connected the grid. It was an amazing day. The grid was for prosperity, health, and protection. Since we created that grid, people have gone other places, and so now I have stones in Europe. I have stones in Japan. I have stones in Australia. I have stones in South America. I have stones in a great many of the states here in the United States. And I'm taking over the world 1 stone at a time. So, and I connect. Every year I reconnect the grid and re-energize the grid. This last August, I did it just like this. We did it on Facebook Live, and we planted some additional stones because everybody who participated in that circle had a stone of their own, and they buried it at their house. And so again, we are creating a beautiful grid that probably won't make the entire world, because I don't know anybody going to Africa or to Russia, but you never know. It is, I've also got a grid in my shop where I have 7 stones. I've got 1 in each of the cardinal directions. And then in the center of the store, I have the above, below, and within stones that are, excuse me, that are placed inside the center of the store, and they are, and this particular grid is for protection and prosperity. I don't have a grid here in the house that's, always up. And maybe that's something that I'll do maybe at the first of the year, because that would be a good thing to do. So I've got my notes here. Okay, so setting up your grid. So what you want to do is you want to know what your intent for this grid is. And so tonight the intent is a healing grid for both emotional, mental, and physical healing. Now, my intent is that this healing will go out to my friends, my family, and my circle. So all of you will be included in this grid. It is each grid has to have a center stone. It is because you've got to have a stone that is that has the power to do what it is that you're looking for. So all of these stones are healing stones and amplifiers. It is, you can use sacred geometry, which actually the grid in and of itself is sacred geometry. It is, sacred geometry is all around us. It can be found in architecture, in leaves, in branches on trees, the spiral of the galaxies, and in the cells of the human body. Many people believe that geometry provides the container of all life. And through the study of sacred geometry, we can gain an understanding of the universe around us and unlock building blocks of creations. Crystals themselves are made of perfect crystalline structure that under a microscope, the crystals have repeating patterns of sacred geometrical formations. So the grid, the stones itself are also sacred geometry. It is, this is sacred geometry. Now, I'm not going to use this as part of the grid because I wanted a bigger grid so that you could see it a little bit better. But I could put my crystal grid on here if I had small stones or just a couple of stones. But that's an example of sacred geometry. Okay, so crystal grids are an arrangement of energetically aligned crystals in a sacred geometric shape charged by an intent for the purpose of manifestation. Lots of big words there. So basically what's that saying is that the crystal grids are aligned crystals that help you end up with a predetermined end result. Grids often, oh yeah, we talked about that. All right. They sometimes use a base. So this would be a base, this one right here. You can actually Google sacred geometry on your computer and print off beautiful examples of sacred geometry, and you can use that as a base. You can, if you find one that you truly love, you could transfer it from the computer onto fabric. You can, so it, like all magic, the only thing that limits it is your imagination and your belief. You also do not have to have a grid template, which is what those sacred geometry pictures are called. It is solely up to you what it is that you want. Now, the center stone has an, actually all crystals have auras, just like we have auras. Okay, and but on a crystal, it's called the energy torus. Our chakra line serves as a central axis for us. When we create a crystal grid, the center stone acts as the anchor for the grid's energy torus, acting as the antenna, which broadcasts your intention to the universe. The center stone is generally the largest piece in the grid or the highest vibrational. Then you have surrounding stones. These are crystals that are arranged in geometric shape around the center stone. How many you need will depend on how simple or complex you want to make your grid, as well as the basic shape that you have chosen. These act as modifiers to your grid. The surrounding stones also act as satellites, receiving and broadcasting the intention out into the world. After you have the surrounding stones, then you put the amplification stones. These are generally quartz points or tumbles placed in a corresponding outer grid or alternately placed in geometric points between the surrounding stones. These are not completely necessary, but the quartz helps to transmit and amplify and power up the grid even more. Objects of importance are optional. This can be any item from a special person, a photo, or any other item aligned with your intent. So leaves, flowers, things of that nature. Now, what I'm going to do now is I am going to create the grid that I am using, and then what we're going to do is activate it. So, put that page aside. My center stone is the amethyst. So you can see that. That's nice. So the amethyst is said to be an excellent crystal to enhance physical vitality, especially after chemotherapy, radiation, or pharmaceutical treatments. It is an energizing healer on a physical level because it can strengthen the adrenal glands, the reproductive organs, and the heart. It can aid in the treatment of disorders that affect lungs, pancreas, and spleen. It can also stimulate fertility and help in the treatment of conditions related to the reproductive system. Amethyst also works in strengthening the immune system. It can also help you achieve a speedy recovery from a severe illness. It can be effective when it comes to cell regeneration. Natural amethyst, as opposed to lab-created amethyst, is also well known as a stress reliever and can detoxify the body. So to me, that seems like a really good center stone for this healing. Okay, now my surrounding stones are going to be amber. So we've got the amber out, and the amber is a powerful healer and cleanser of the body, mind, and spirit. It also cleanses the environment. Amber draws disease from the body, healing and renewing the nervous system, and balancing the right and left parts of the brain. The most obvious quality of amber is that it's very old energy. With it comes the accumulated wisdom of the earth and its natural kingdom. You can often see little insects trapped in amber while it started as tree resin. This gives the amber stone quite a powerful magical properties. It is also a stone that lifts up spirit. Amber stone meaning was associated with the sun. That helps people feel spirited in the middle of bleak or gloomy situations. It also encourages optimism and, in the end, ability to solve problems and face difficulties. Now, more surrounding stones, I am using serpentine. That's this little green stone here. So green serpentine is effective in clearing energy centers or chakras of the body and the meridians as well. So that's all of your nerves and energy centers. If there are blockages in the chakras, the energy flow through the body is hindered, which can cause several physical, mental, and emotional problems. Serpentine is said to clear blockages from the chakras as well. It acts with the heart, helping in emotional healing. It clears the heart of hurtful, painful emotions, healing the heart with forgiveness and compassion. And so I am going to put these at the 4 cardinal directions, and then I'm going to put one at the cross quarters as well. Now, as my amplifiers, I'm using clear quartz crystal points, and I am going to put these out with the point facing, that one goes that way, the point facing outside. Now, the idea for that, or the reason for that, is that it will take the energy from these center stones and surrounding stones and direct it outwards towards all of you and the family and people that are not paying attention. Okay, so crystal quartz is often called the master healer crystal, and for good reason, as it's one of the most, if not the most powerful crystal to work with for healing, manifestation, and amplification. It's the one crystal that every crystal enthusiast and spiritually inclined person should have. Clear quartz also happens to be one of the most abundant minerals found on the Earth's surface. All right, now I have a selenite wand, and we're going to activate the grid. Now, you can use a selenite wand or any crystal wand. Selenite is one of the best energy movers, and most particularly because this one is pointed, it is going to be it's going to be more direct in what it is that I'm doing. But you can use a metal wand, you can use your hand and visualization. Don't limit yourself to what it is that you're doing. So what we're going to do is tell the stones my intent. All right, so my intent is that we send healing energy to my family, to my friends, and to my circle, which is you, to help us heal emotionally, mentally, and physically. Help us move forward out of the year that we've had in a healthier way. So that is what we need to do. All right, now I'm going to touch the center stone, and then I'm going to touch the surrounding stones. And then I'm going to touch the amplifiers. Now, as I'm doing this, what I am doing is I am visualizing a clear blue energy, like ice blue energy, line that is attaching all of these stones to each other. Okay, so now these stones are all in line with each other. It is now that I'm looking at the stones and I'm seeing the ice blue line, I'm going to grow that ice blue line, similar to how when we do our energy balls, right? And I'm going to grow these lines so they're stronger and they're vibrant and they're vibrating. . and we're going to press the energy out in all of the directions to each of you and to my family and friends. It is, okay, we've pushed it out, and so now I'm going to express my gratitude to the stones and to the universe for sending this energy out to help heal the people that I've asked. So there you have it. That's a crystal grid. And it is, this one I will probably keep up for the next week or so. And then I'm going to need to move it off my dining room table. But so that's kind of where we're going and what we've got right now. If you have any other questions, feel free to stop by the shop or to send a note through Facebook, and I'll be happy to answer that. Thank you very much for joining me with this class. I'm not quite sure what we're going to do next week. If you've got an idea that you would like to learn about, please shoot me a note about that. I just finished rebuilding my chicken coop with the help of my daughter and granddaughter, and I'm going to go, my chickens got hijacked by my daughter, so I'm going to go get new chickens. And so probably in the next month, we'll be talking a little bit about chickens and what you need to do in order to get chickens. Now, if you live in the city, here in Snohomish County, you can have 6 hens. So the fact that you live inside the city doesn't mean you can't have chickens and fresh eggs. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Not next week, though. It'll be probably a month down the line. So any other thoughts, let me know. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a great evening. Blessed be.